Hi, everybody. This is Melanie Headley. You are listening to ToRAISE Questions Doula podcast. I'm here with Thérèse Hakoun, the Executive Director of ToLabor, which is an international training and certifying doula organization. Hi, Thérèse.
Hey, Melanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. We just had a busy weekend. Had an acupressure for birth attendants workshop here in the site.
That's right, with Keith Bell.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Good turnout.
Great. I mean, we had actually 15 who attended, but we had one person who couldn't make it because of circumstances. Another person, unfortunately, got sick early on in the workshop. So we had like 18 people.
Great.
We got down to fit. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And it's such a fun workshop.
It is. I've taken it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And Keith is so smart about his work, but he brings it down to such a level of understanding.
Absolutely. And fun.
And fun. And it's so hands-on. And there's lots of laughter. And everybody walked away just, feeling like, oh my God, I have so many more tools now.
Yes.
To help my clients. And Keith is really clear about what their scope of practice is as far as, where the line is, which is why it's so wonderful that acupuncturist actually teaches this.
Mm-hmm.
And he is great about consulting with everyone, too.
I've had to text him a few times myself.
That's it. So it was a great weekend, and we hope to do another one in Richmond sometime in the early spring, and then, maybe a couple others around the country if we can work his schedule. So,
so look out for those dates, everybody.
Yeah, because we get requests, and it's just a little hard for us because Keith is a very busy acupuncturist. His field of expertise above just all in acupuncture and Chinese medicine is fertility.
Right, and I love that that's what he focuses on, and it kind of comes full circle with the birth.
Absolutely, and he goes, and I've shared this before, he took our training many years ago because he often is asked to come to births to do acupuncture or acupressure on clients that he has helped get pregnant.
Yes.
We all laugh. There's going to be a movement. Somebody just needs to put it together that there are so many people in this community who could wear the T-shirt that says, Keith Bell got me pregnant. And
love it.
Yeah, because
I have a handful of friends that could wear that shirt.
Oh, yeah, there's so many. So it was great. And then on top of it, autumn has come to Richmond, Virginia.
I know, finally.
I know. The weather is cool, crisp, and the trees are starting to change.
We have sweaters on in our office.
It's
nice.
Just, and it's not rainy and dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's so blue.
I saw that you rode your bike here.
I do. I ride my bike everywhere. And even in these cool mornings like this weekend, coming over here to set up the workshop, it was cold.
I know.
But riding the bike is invigorating. So.
It is. I went on a run on the Buttermilk Trail yesterday morning, and it was freezing cold. Yes. But it was good.
Yeah, it's good. So, and it gets me off of my butt.
Right.
So, well, kind of. I'm sitting down.
At least you're moving while on your butt.
I do a lot of walking otherwise. So, we're going to talk about a couple things.
We sure are. So we're going to answer some questions. We're going to have a follow-up from someone who had some questions in a previous podcast. And so stay tuned. We will be right back.
Thanks.
So do you like my shirt?
I love your shirt.
Guess where I got it?
Where'd you get it?
Latchedmama.com.
And you're not even nursing.
I know.
But I get why you're wearing it.
It's adorable, right? I love it so much. And how hot is it today?
I know. The sleeveless ones are so great. I mean, really. And they're so comfortable. You would never, honestly, Melanie, I would never know that the shirt you're wearing is a breastfeeding
I know.
T-shirt.
And it has like a little bit of cleavage, which I like.
It's to fill those big breastfeeding breasts.
Well, these aren't big breastfeeding breasts any longer, unfortunately.
But so we're sponsored by Latch Mama. You've heard us talk about it. Please check them out on latchmama.com, and want to make sure for our listeners that they know that they can use a coupon of...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Podcast 10. And that's 10% off.
Right. It's good until August 31st, so pass it on to your clients. Use it yourself. I mean,
I actually used it.
Well, and I've said I have 3 of the hoodies. They're so comfortable, and not one person has ever thought that was anything but a hoodie with this flap, if they even notice the flap.
Right.
It's just design. Look at everybody's clothes. So really comfortable, great business, wonderful owners. So please support them and check them out, latchmama.com.
So, where should we start? Let's start with the follow-up to episode, which one was it?
89.
Okay, episode 89.
Which was about the Foley bulb inductions, and that was brought to us by a question by Tiffany.
Great.
And she wrote us after the episode was up.
Which I love. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for giving us your feedback, and it's so nice to hear that just what happened.
Yeah, and we like that.
Yes.
You can always, if you find that something you heard on the podcast was helpful to you, it's just nice for us to know that. So please don't hesitate. Or if it raises more questions, or you used the idea or example that was being discussed and it worked for you or it didn't, send us an email. And we can
love hearing from you.
Yeah. So that's at ToRAISEQuestions@gmail.com. So Tiffany sent us the following email that I'm going to try and read to you. And what it said was, I had a client who was planning a VBAC 2, but needed to induce at...
Which is a VBAC after two cesareans.
Is what I'm assuming she meant. But needed to induce at 37 and a half weeks due to high blood pressure. Her care providers did not want to induce with a low Bishop score, which she had a low Bishop score, because they don't typically use prostaglandins for VBAC inductions. We had spoken about asking if a Foley bulb was an option if induction became necessary, and she talked them into it since it wasn't a synthetic prostaglandin. It did the trick to get her cervix ready for Pitocin, and she had a wonderful, healthy baby this morning.
Yay!
Yeah.
That is so good to hear.
It is good to hear, and it's good as a great example where it can be used to, maybe have, if they were not willing to do a prostaglandin induction, and they really felt it was time for her to have her baby because of high blood pressure,
right?
Then what they might have then offered to her as her only option was a scheduled C-section.
Right. And I think how empowering it must feel for the mama, the pregnant person, to have been her own advocate and to have brought that information on the table.
Absolutely. And that they were willing to go, oh, okay, let's try it.
Great.
And better that than not having tried it and learning about it later, which is why we love these kinds of conversations.
Yes.
So, and though in the end she might have needed the Pitocin, she was able to move forward with a successful VBAC, which is what she really wanted.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's really wonderful.
And good job to you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Good work, doula.
Yeah. See, without your knowledge, she would not have known probably that was an option. So thank you for letting other people know about it too. So then from there, we have some questions.
Yes.
From a newer doula, according to her writing to us. Her name is Chrissy Southern.
Okay. Hi, Chrissy. Thanks for writing.
And she is from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, cool.
She has a website, twolinesfertility.com.
Oh, that's cute.
And one of the questions she had to ask was, what about wearing scrubs to a birth? And I have an easy answer for that question. and I'm not sure you have the same one as I do.
But you're going to make me go first.
Well, I think that we probably have the same response and for the same reasons. So we could say together in a yes or no way.
Okay.
Okay. The answer is no.
No.
Good. See? No problem.
Nope.
No. And I mean, the simple reason for that, and I think most people understand this, and I think you understand it as well, Chrissy, is that it can be an identification. Scrubs is an identification of somebody who works in the hospital.
Right.
And since you are not an employee, unless that were the case, of the hospital, you are independent, and you should not muddy the waters in any way to the staff and to your client themselves. Part of the what you bring into that environment is the familiarity of their life, and
you work for them.
Yeah, and you're coming in with your street clothes, your everyday clothes, and that's familiar to them. That's how they know you. Mm-hmm. But it's really important for the staff, I think, not to be confused, because somebody can walk in and see you in scrubs and think, oh, who is this? Who is this? Or the worst is they think, ooh, who does she think she is? Mm-hmm. Looking like us when this is our uniform, mm-hmm. and that could be misunderstood.
Right.
So what do you wear?
Right. So, I don't have a problem with doulas wearing, a t-shirt that has their business name on it, or their company name, or,
right.
or some sort of a birth, logo,
or statement, slogan.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, I wear jeans, mm-hmm. stretchy jeans. I mm-hmm. wear little Keds, slip-on Keds.
Right.
And a t-shirt. And then I have a button down in my bag, and I wear a hoodie.
Yeah.
So I have layers that I can take off because I'm hot and cold, such as the pregnant person. And yeah. And then I always have warm socks if I need to put them on.
And
I do not bring a bathing suit.
No. And, please, I can imagine that might be someone's comfort level of, if the person's in the shower, that you feel like you need to get in there with them or whatever. But really, it's not necessary.
Well, I had a client who said, and she is a friend / client, and said when she was in the shower, okay, Melanie, go get your bathing suit on, get in here with me. And I said, that's where I draw the line. Your partner is going to be in there with you with his bathing suit on. I'll be in the bathroom with you.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting my bathing suit on.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that the partner, if they do indeed have a partner, is the one who can get in. That's who should be in the shower with them. They're the physical support provider of that person. And we're there, but we don't have to be physically doing that. And if they don't have a partner, you can still be supporting them outside of that. You're standing right there. You don't have to get in it. But that said, if you are down for that, then I could see doing that, but do not do it to take away the position of a partner.
Right.
And be aware that the nurses may think that's a little weird if you're in your bathing suit,
and it should be a one piece.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. Yeah. And the other thing and we've brought this up about clothing before, and I just want to say it again though, is that whatever you wear, there's not a set, some people decide, okay, this is my go to labor outfit, and that's great. If you have that and you feel comfortable in that, that's great. But it can be any of your clothing, just like Melanie just brought up what she wears. What you do want to be aware of is that when you bend over, that your breasts are not falling out of your shirt as much as possible. It's just
I recall one of my births that you actually came to, and you had to change your shirt.
I did, because I came from where I was, and I didn't have anything, and I was like, I am not going...
Which I heard the story only after my baby was born.
I was not going to be wearing this dress where my breasts were, and I'm very self-conscious of that anyway, so it would, maybe somebody else wouldn't be, but it's just appropriate. And the other thing you want to be aware of is how far down your pants go when you bend over or squat, or because I mean, showing your underwear, is not the end of the world. You really want to be
as nondescript as possible.
Exactly. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. And that's why I'm bringing up, it's nothing that wrong with your breast showing or your butt crack showing or your underwear showing per se. It's more that what Melanie said was perfect. I'm so glad you said it that way. You don't want to draw attention to you. You want, it's not about you. And unfortunately, there will be people who will make comments about that, whether you know it or not. So comfortable clothing, comfortable shoes, layering, those are the things that we wear.
I also don't wear any jewelry.
Right. Well, and you have to really consider a ring on your finger. If it has stones of any kind and they are grabbing your hand, I've learned this by experience, had a little stone on a ring that would slide, and it would get caught between my ring finger and my pinky, and they would be squeezing, and ouch. I thought, oh my God, I would die. And I did it too many different times before I realized, do not wear that ring, because I wanted to, this is so terrible, but I'm going to actually say, I wanted to slap them like, stop, because it hurt so bad. I thought, well, I'm getting the contraction right along with you. So that's the scrubs. I mean, and they're the exception. We actually show a video in the our training where the doula does have scrubs on, and we discuss it. And the only reason this doula has scrubs on is because she is part of the hospital doula program, and that's what they do wear. So in that case, it's an appropriate. I still think I'd rather see that person in their regular clothes. And I used to wear leggings to births too, and like a longer shirt. Sometimes, but I changed to jeans just because I felt like that was a little more, not pajama wear. And I will say that I always have an extra change of clothes in my bag, because I cannot tell you how many times their water has broken all over me, or vomit or poop or wet.
All of it. All of it. So it's nice to have a change of clothes, and layers are so important. And
it is really one of those advisable things to have something quick to put on, but it's not always. We don't always have it, so we deal with being wet.
And then no perfume, nothing, no really smelly lotions.
No perfume. If you came to my birth and you had perfume on, you would have to leave, because I am super hypersensitive to any kind of perfume smell. And if you're a smoker, you got to be aware of that. And your breath, we've talked about these things. Your body odor, those things are, the sense of smell is extremely heightened during pregnancy and especially during labor. So it's one of those things. And I will put in one other thing that pops in my head. Your hair. Be aware if you have long hair, you want to probably at least have a tie back, some kind of twisty tie thing or something to pull your hair back. You don't have to wear it all the time pulled back, but I used to have really long hair, and I just remember it sometimes being really in the way and flopping into people, when I did, before I could get it pulled back. And I just felt bad because I didn't want my hair in their face or on their body when they weren't, they had enough going on. So consider that as well. So another thing that Chrissy brought up, and this may not be relevant to a lot of doulas, but it certainly is an issue for many doulas depending on where they live. And that is if you do not own a car. How do you do birth work if you do not own a car? And, the easy answer to this is get a car.
Yes.
Which is not an easy answer by any means. So it is a really legitimate question as to how can you do birth if you don't have a car. Now, if you live in a city and they have good mass transit, public transportation of some kind, then you've got your options, and you're probably already familiar with routes and how to use public transportation. I mean, in New York City, it is not unheard of for doulas by any means. In Chicago, for instance, San Francisco, to and many of the other major cities for people not to have a car.
Right.
They will they allot that time. Yeah. To being able
get on the metro, get on the subway.
Exactly.
Use
buses,
the bus line.
Right. Trains to get to places. So if that's, part of what you have available to you, Chrissy, then you've got to take that, really look at then how far that transportation goes.
And times.
And your client, yes. Do they run all night? Do they run at 2:00 in the morning? When do they start? When do they end? And we
have Uber, we have Lyft now as well,
but
and cabs, of course.
Finish with the public transportation. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
No, don't. Is that you want to be clear then how far away your clients are from you? Like, does the public transportation go as far as their home? Because if you're planned to labor at home with them,
right,
and you're dependent on public transportation, then you can only go take a client as far as public transportation goes.
And so that might have to go into your decision on whether to take them on or not as a client, what I mean. And then have that conversation at the interview or, in that initial communication.
And then as Melanie just brought up, there is Uber, there's Lyft, there's cabs. And so there is that availability, and Uber and Lyft are great options as far as affordability for in most communities, not to, throw cabs under the bus, so to speak. But it is definitely an option. But, and Chrissy did bring that up, and her question then was, should she charge an additional fee? Should that be added into her, or how she wrote it was, should a fee be added for public transportation and cab?
So I think that should just be calculated into the fee from the very beginning. Yes. I don't think anything should be added on post-birth. I think that as you create what your fee is going to be, you need to look at how much you're going to spend, how much you could potentially spend on transportation. Mm-hmm. And that does come down to timing too, because, we never know when we're going to be called to a birth.
Right.
So are there going to be Ubers or Lyfts or subways available to you going to that place at 4 a.m,
right.
5 a.m?
So, for instance, here's just a random number. Make sure, how about you think, okay, the most I'll probably have to spend on transportation is $50. And then make sure that when you are creating your fee, that you're looking at, do you add, if you were planning to charge $500, well, maybe I'll say it's $550 instead. And they don't have to know it's for public transportation.
Right.
Or you were planning $600 and, you think, okay, well, and a part of that may have, up to $50 may go towards transportation, and you don't add anything new into it. It's just part of the deal. You may have a easy access just to get to a hospital that's really close by. You never go to their house. You meet them. Your prenatals are done in a community area that is close for both of you to get to, so that public transportation or Uber isn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. It isn't costly. But it is definitely something you want to plan, you want to think about. I was talking quite a few years ago, communicating with a midwife in Chicago who owned a car but tried not to use it very often. And she most of the time was able to ride public transportation to births.
Wow.
Which I thought was funny about bringing all those gear with her. But she said, people that's the way we travel.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it didn't work out that way. But most of the time, if she felt she had enough time, she just took the, out there it was the L, and would go to birth that way.
Well, then I think time does have to be talked about as well.
Yes.
And so that since it is public transportation, things may happen. Right. And there might be delays that are out of your control. Right. So that might need to be discussed as well. We plan on doing an episode coming up here all about the doula contract.
Right.
And we can touch on this further there. But having a talk with what is the potential of how long should they be expected to wait for you? Should they be expecting you within an hour of saying we need you? Is it 30 minutes? Is
right.
What is it? What looks realistic for you?
Right. And that would be true also, anytime, obviously. And then, going to city areas like you brought up DC, and we know quite a few doulas up in the Northern Virginia, DC area who have to make sure their clients understand that they may only live 20 miles away, but it may take an hour or more for them to get there because the traffic is so horrible during most of the time periods, most of the day and night up in that area. And that's true of many other cities. So that should be communicated one way or the other. There was one other thought about public transportation. About transportation. And there is always the option of, do you have a family member or a friend who is has an extra car, who is willing to let you be have an on-call car situation. And the other is, many communities have the zip cars, or something very similar to Zipcar, where you can just rent the car for 24 hours for a certain fee, and just have that. If there's a zip station near you, it's easy to do, and you can look that up. So there are options of doing it. Ideally, most people have some form of transportation for doing this work, but it is not necessarily a reason not to do this work either, because, but if they had to do that here in Richmond, it would be more difficult.
It would be.
Because we have mass transit on a very limited basis as far as going out to suburbs and out to some of the surrounding areas. And it doesn't run in a consistent way, from my experience. And so Uber
really
would probably
dependent on your city.
Uber would probably have to be more of the ilk of or the mode of transportation. So I hope that helps, Chrissy, and anybody else who's listening. And hey, speaking of contributing, if you are a city doula and you do not have a car, or like to limit the amount of use you have, that you use a car, let us know how you do this, and we can pass this on, or you could talk to us directly on the podcast and give ideas of what's worked for you, what hasn't, what's been the upside of this, what's been the downside.
Yeah, we want to hear
it.
some stories.
Yeah, I can imagine some stories.
I know.
I just know my own stories, and they're not on mass transit. What it's like sometime also coming home from a birth, how you look.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And being on, I guess you just meld in with the rest of the population of people. I don't know. And one other thing Chrissy wanted to talk about, which is a whole big conversation, which I think we've had, but, and it can also be said very briefly, which is, getting over feeling, or how to get yourself comfortable, getting over the fears of being a new doula. And then it's hard because you're at one point, all of us have been a new doula.
Yeah.
And for some, they stay a new doula for for longer periods of time because their births are far and few between. They're stretched out. They don't get, there's time periods in between. And so it feels like I'm always a new doula. For me, the simple really answer is just do the work.
Right. And
let go of the fear, because what we talk about, and we talk about so much on this podcast, is it's really about you being present more than what you know and what you don't know. It's really being present for that person, showing up emotionally and physically, and touching and communicating, and bring some tips with you about positions. That's where carrying the like Penny Simpkins' book, The Birth Partner, or Labor Progress, with you, so that you have a resource, a reference to ideas, but just do it.
Yeah. And just you being there just makes such a difference. And, it's almost like what you can remember from having your own babies, like looking back, I can't remember what a contraction really feels like. I can't remember the really hard part from my own births. I can remember the elation and the joy and the empowerment from that birth. It's kind of like that after you have a few births under your belt. As a doula, you look back and you just start to gather more confidence in your job and your role. And every time you might have a little bit less anxiety, but even now I was just going to ask you. To every birth I go to, there's a little bit of like,
because now,
how's it going to go?
You've got somebody who's maybe in early labor, right?
Right. Yep.
So do you feel?
Yeah, I'm a little bit like, all right, how am I going to put my day together? When is she going to need me? Is she going to need me? When's the next call going to come in? When are we going to go in? Who's on call? What's this going to look like? You know? So
yeah,
you always have that little bit of anxiety going in, but then what you have gathered and kind of stored in this box is the confidence that you build from each birth.
Right. Absolutely. And you'll look back, like Melanie said, on the births, and you'll remember certain things about the birth. But in the end, I think what you'll remember most is how your client felt at the end, which is probably just so, no matter what the outcome was, so glad that you were present with them. And because it's very, very rare where you do not hear, excuse me, a client say at the end, no matter what the experience, the actual birth was, I am so glad you were here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
We're not there to make it happen one way or another. We're just there to let them know that they're not alone in this, that they have really somebody with only them in their mind and nothing else but that. So we just have to do. And I've shared that, I still get nervous because you wonder, will I know what to do? If they're in this circumstance, will I be able to figure it out?
Right.
And the good thing is I don't have to figure it out.
Right.
I mean, I can try things.
You have that toolbox to go to.
And then I'm not the only person there, though. There's nurses there.
Yes.
There's doctors there. There are midwives there. There's the partner there. I mean, there's other people who have ideas as well. And
it's a collaboration.
Yeah. So just go do it.
Just keep doing it.
And keep doing it. And don't turn births away because you think, I'm not quite ready as far as I don't think I know enough. The only way you'll really know is by doing this kind of work.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that helps a little bit. And thanks, Chrissy. We're hoping we might see you in Grand Rapids. It's just a heads up to everyone. We're working on having a workshop there sometime in 2017, and Chrissy is going to be our sponsor.
Yay!
So that would be lovely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So that said, I just want to also put out there that I know I keep saying this, but it's all being done behind the scenes. We are working on our 2017 calendar, so don't get frustrated when you look and you don't see much there. We definitely have a workshop that I will be teaching January 13th through the 15th of 2017 in Richmond. If you want to come from wherever you live to Richmond, please do. It's a great space. It's a great community. Let other people know about it. And we are working on many other workshops as well. So in the meantime, if you are interested in possibly bringing a training to your area, please contact us. We would love to see if we can put you into this ongoing schedule creation that we're doing. And that would be by contacting Nicole at tolaborworkshops@gmail.com. And questions, send to an input to ToRAISE Questions gmail.com.
And stories. We want to hear stories.
Yeah, we would love to have some case studies, as we call them. So please, even if you've done the birth and you think, okay, I get it, maybe your story would help another listener really understand, oh, okay, that's if I have that experience, or oh, that makes sense why that happened in my experience with my client. With my client. We find that those are among the favorites of everyone listening.
And we're still compiling a group of stories from your clients too. So we want to hear from your clients as well.
Yes. And so I think that's it for this week.
That's it. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Okay, take care.